Tomodachi, Godzilla to Jetta Jaga. This shirt's pretty sweet, I gotta say. I got it from the Godzilla store out there in Houston, and it's pretty sweet. Also, it's kind of weird, but like the first video I'm doing coming out of Houston is nothing to do with the convention. It was just something that I did on the side. Yeah, the background has changed, by the way. We'll show off the Wall of Fame. It runs from here all around. Oh, I really messed up my directions right there. It starts from here, runs up and around. Oh, there's the wall. You can see it. We'll show it all off in a future video. But this is a pretty sick shirt. I got this one, yeah, at the Godzilla store, and I'm a big fan of it. What's up, everybody? D-Man back, and welcome to a brand new video. Today we're going to be reviewing Godzilla King of the Monsters again? I don't know, it's weird. Spoiler warning for Godzilla King of the Monsters. We're going to review the movie in ScreenX because when I was out there in Houston, I had the opportunity to see it in a ScreenX theater. I think there's ScreenX theaters near-ish to where I live, but I'd have to drive a ways to see it. I don't actually know about that though, because I've never actually looked into ScreenX. But when I was out there in Houston, there is a ScreenX theater like 10 minutes away from where I was staying, from the hotel I was at. So my dad and I were like, might as well go, might as well see what ScreenX is like. I actually debated on it quite a bit because we knew we were going to see Godzilla when we were out there. We just wanted to, or at least I did. So I was like, well, I know we're going to go see Godzilla, but I didn't anticipate we'd see it in ScreenX because you guys remember when I originally announced that it was going to be in ScreenX, if you go back to that video, all I did was make fun of ScreenX. I just thought it was a ridiculous concept. The trailers make it look horrible, which brings me to my first point, which is expectations versus reality. I really thought ScreenX was going to be the most laughable experience ever. I thought it was going to be horrible. I really just had no idea what it was because the trailers do a horrible job telling you what it is. So this whole time I was going, oh, ScreenX, that's just, geez, that is something special there. Not in a good way either. In reality, it's actually pretty dang cool. It's not better than IMAX. It's not better than Dolby. It's kind of crazy. So what I expected was you have your Godzilla screen or your movie screen, you know, you watch your movie. What ScreenX does is take that, cut the frame in three, way stretch it out so that that third of a frame fits the center screen, and then paste the other 2/3 of the screen on the walls. That's what the trailer made it look like. And so obviously that just sounds horrible. I'm picturing like, oh god, there's going to be a scene, two characters are having a conversation with each other in the movie. One of them's on this wall, the other one's on this wall, and they're just talking across the whole building. I thought it was going to be hilarious in a bad way. That is not the case. The ScreenX is way different than I expected. First off, it only happens during action scenes. Anytime it's not an action scene, you are not in ScreenX. There are even some points where during an action scene, you will just be with the human characters, so they will cut it back to normal. And the fades between ScreenX and non-ScreenX are a lot smoother than you'd think they'd be. The other big difference is you're watching it on a standard size screen, and the standard size screen never changes. It's always what was always on the standard screen. If you look at the walls, probably to about here in your vision, so you expand your vision a little bit, that's what you get from IMAX. It just expands the screen a little bit. You still get footage that you've seen in IMAX if you've seen it in IMAX that you don't normally see in standard. It's just a little bit of a crop difference essentially. Everything else is new. It's all new CGI, all new human character stuff, all new footage on the walls because they obviously, ScreenX knows that if you take an image, cut it in three, and then throw it on the walls, it's gonna look hilarious. That's not to say there isn't problems. ScreenX is still very experimental, and you can tell when you're watching it. You can tell it's not a perfected format. There's like characters will walk and it'll be weird when they cross between from the wall to the center screen, and there's some other problems with it, namely the gap between screens, because it's just a standard screen and then they project onto the walls. The gap between the screens, fix it. If you're doing a ScreenX theater, just expand the screen a little bit more, you know, just curve it a little bit so it touches each wall. That way there's no break in flow, because it's really noticeable and it looks bad when you see that, when you pay attention to the big gaps in the screen. It just like really takes you out of the experience. The other thing I'd say is if you're doing a ScreenX theater, maybe move the exit signs so that I'm not watching an action scene like following Rodan onto the wall and then I'm like, oh, there's a big exit sign. Yep, right there in the middle of the action, just glowing green in the middle of the action, a big exit sign. Fix all that and it'll be pretty cool. Also the audio was worse than a standard showing for the movie. The theater's a lot longer than your normal theaters, but it's still got the same sound system for a standard showing, and so it really feels like nothing. It's like watching it on your phone without headphones where you're not getting the audio quality that you deserve. Throw in some Dolby speakers in that and it would be insane. That would be crazy. So yes, it's only during action scenes. It is certainly a peripheral sensation. You are meant to view it out of the corners of your eyes. You're not meant to watch the walls like I did, because I've already seen the movie. This was my 5th time seeing the movie. I saw it a 6th time last night, but you're only supposed to see it, you know, out of the corner of your eyes. But because I've already seen the movie, I didn't want to just sit there and watch the same screen that I've already seen 5 times before, 4 times before. So I did watch the walls, and you do notice that you're not supposed to, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. The opening and ending of the movie are incredible in Screen X. That intro scene when you're in the flashback in 2014, it's crazy being surrounded by it. You really feel like you're there. Everything around you is moving. Every time Godzilla steps, everything shakes. You really feel disoriented, and you get it. You feel like you're right there with Mark Russell looking for Andrew. It's crazy. And then the Battle of Boston is insane. The whole entire Battle of Boston, you just feel like you're there. You know, the movie is really good with making you feel like you're in the action already. It's shot from the human perspective. You know, you got that scene where Madison's running down the street, Godzilla and Ghidorah are fighting in the background, Rodan, Mothra come crashing down in front of her. When you watch that in Screen X, you're like dodging Mothra and Rodan with her. It's crazy. And that really is the thing. It doesn't feel like a movie format. Nothing emotionally resonated with me when I was watching it in Screen X, which I was worried about. I was like, oh god, that means I've seen the movie too much because none of this emotionally impacts me anymore. Not true. When I saw it last night, I saw it in a standard showing, but it's still, the Mothra scenes, those still emotionally impact me. You know, everything else I've seen a lot, but the Mothra scenes, for whatever reason, Mothra really just gets to me in this movie. Anyways, it's so disorienting and distracting and different that it doesn't feel like you're watching a movie. It feels like you're there in a theme park ride. It feels like something you'd get at Universal Studios. It does not feel like you're watching a movie, which is where I see a lot of potential with it. Get some seats that rock during the action scenes, maybe some wind to blast you, turned into a 4D experience. I know they have the movie in 4D, but I think that's different than Screen X. Get it to be a little bit more of a 4D experience. You got those Dolby speakers in the back, and it will be the most immersive way to watch any movie ever. It would be crazy. So there is new CGI on the walls. You do see new stuff. I will talk about some of that, you know, because I'm not going to break down every little thing you see. Ghidorah, you know, there's like his wings. You can watch them heal up during the fight in the Battle of Boston. He gets holes blasted in them that heal up on the walls that you didn't see in the standard showing or the IMAX showing. Mothra's body, you know, when they do the big larva reveal in the movie, you only see Mothra's head. This was my first indication that something is different because you only see Mothra's head. But in the Screen X, you see the whole entire larva's body. Like, you look on the wall and you can watch the whole body move. And it's crazy. New CGI. During that scene when Godzilla's showing off against Ghidorah in the Arctic, you can look on either side of you and you will see the entire landscape, not just the round one fight image. You can see everything. It's really cool. And that's when I was like, oh shoot, this is new footage, you know? This is not just me being oblivious to all this stuff beforehand. This is all new. Because originally I was like, how is this working? Where is this footage coming from? I didn't think it was new. And then I realized, oh, it is. During Rodan's eruption, you know, you're in the Argo jet. Whenever you're watching the human characters, if you look to the wall, you can watch Rodan slowly climbing out of the volcano, which is cool. And then Godzilla and Ghidorah, their fight in Fenway is pretty spectacular. You know, you're there watching Mark Russell run around in Fenway looking for Madison. If you look on the wall, you are watching Godzilla and Ghidorah fight, so you really feel like you're there. Highlights in Screen X include Mothra under the waterfall with her wings opening up. That scene's just beautiful in general, but it feels really powerful in Screen X. Ghidorah's intro when he rises up out of the ice is really crazy. That one is probably the coolest thing you see in Screen X. The lightning in Fenway scene, you know, where Madison's in the box and the lightning in the fog is slowly moving in. It's pretty crazy in Screen X because anytime lightning flashes, both walls are turned off, but anytime lightning flashes, it'll flicker on one wall or the other. So it's pretty cool. You know, you got that experience going on. Once Ghidorah crashes down and lands, then the whole screen opens up and you can see everything. And then that scene where Ghidorah is towering over Madison about to kill her and then Godzilla saves her with the atomic breath, that scene is just nuts in Screen X because you're like, Ghidorah is huge. You're looking up at him, his wings just span across the walls. It's crazy. There is errors in the CGI on the walls, and there's a lot of them. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I will mention a few. Clearly, you're not supposed to watch the walls because if you do, you'll notice that during the fight in Fenway, Ghidorah, whenever he's on the wall, his tails turn into just two like big Godzilla tails, essentially. They lose the frills on the end. So don't pay attention to Ghidorah's tails, otherwise you will notice they become two Godzilla tails. Essentially, you know, they're just rounded clubs. They don't have the frills. And then Rodan, when Rodan is destroying Mexico, when all the people are flying away, if you watch the walls, it looks really cheap and really fake, which is, again, you know, another thing they could improve with Screen X, but mostly it just comes down to the sound and the splits in the screens. Once they get those all sorted out, it'll be a little better. But it was overall a way better experience than I anticipated. I wouldn't prefer this over IMAX. I wouldn't prefer this over Dolby. I would have to see the movie in standard before I'd want to see it in Screen X. There would never be a case when I'd say, yeah, guys, let's go see this movie in Screen X. Never. Unless I've already seen the movie, I'm not going to recommend it because I don't want my first experience watching a movie to be in Screen X. It just doesn't feel the same as watching a movie. But there's my review for Godzilla King of the Monsters in Screen X. If you've seen it in Screen X, what did you think of it? Did you find it to be as weird and experimental as I did, or were you just like, yeah, it's just alright? Tell me down below. As for everything else happening with Houston, I will be doing lots of videos on it because there's a lot of things that I filmed. I just need to figure out how I'm gonna organize it all. But there you go. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you guys next time. D-Man, out.